Hello everyone, and welcome to this presentation by Semarchy, introducing the Intelligent Data Hub for Master Data. I'm Richard Branch. I'm the General Manager for Semarchy Europe, where we look after our customers throughout Europe, the UK, and of course the Nordics from our office here in near London in the UK. Unfortunately, I'm not in the UK office, as you can tell at the moment. I'm actually presenting from home, and I'm certainly not in Stockholm, which is where I'd rather like to have been. But that said, let's press on, and without any further hesitation, let's move on with the presentation. So, topics we'll be covering today. First of all, why does MDM matter? Then, somewhat controversially, has traditional MDM failed? And then looking beyond MDM towards the Intelligent Data Hub. But first, let's look at why does it matter? So from this, as it says, let's try and make sense of that. Can you? Well, you can see that 10/10/2017 is a date. You can see some values in there. $1,024.99 is probably a value, and 4612 could be tax, could be something else, but we don't really know. If we add some metadata towards that, then it becomes more understandable. So now you can see, yep, 10/10/2017 is in fact a transaction date, and we've got some tax, we've got a store ID, but it still doesn't really tell us much about that particular record. So add in the master data, and then of course it makes complete sense. So now you can see that we've linked the customer ID with a customer. You can see we've linked a product ID with a product, a store ID. We can see it's Union Square, Macy's store in San Francisco, and so on. So this is just a very simple example of how you can see why adding the master data to the information you've got on record actually makes sense of it. So master data, and these are Gartner's definitions. It's parties, it's places, and things. I always feel it should be parties, places, and products, so that it's the 3 Ps. But parties, obviously, this is the individuals, organizations. It can be customers, suppliers, vendors, employees, whatever you have. Things, this is products, it's assets, it's financial instruments. It's the things that your company deals with. And of course, places, this is locations. It can be the locations of warehouses, shops and stores, etc. And those are the main definitions of master data. And of course, you might look at that and say, well, the perceived complexity of that is not that bad. After all, customers buy products from locations, and employees work in locations, suppliers sell products. Nothing particularly complicated about that at all. However, the actual truth behind this is much more complicated. It's like a neural network of point-to-point connections, and there's no way you can really cope with all of this. And just to build this up, you can see customers interface with call centers, they have observations on social media, they get involved in marketing campaigns. Products and suppliers, you have contracts with your suppliers, you want to know how your particular products are performing. So there's a lot more information, legal identities and supply chain information, inventory information that you have about all of this data. And so you can start to see the real complexity of how you're building this up. Now, if we were to just focus in on some of that master data, the people, the places and things, what we really want to be able to do is now combine that with the other information that you have within your organization, the interactions, the observations, perhaps the transactional data that you've got. And then once you've done that, you can start to build a complete picture of what's happening within your organization. And from that, then, of course, you can start to analyze, predict, and act upon that information. So let's just take an example. And here we've got a stream of data with no MDM. So you can see in the first section up there, within the space of 4 minutes, a chap called Joe Starr goes into the Union Square store. So this is a bricks and mortar store on the high street, and buys a watch, a ZW watch. We don't know what that is, but he's bought a watch. Meanwhile, at the same time, Jack Bolt likes a campaign, presumably on LinkedIn or on Twitter, And Luke Besson connects with Bolt Jack. This is, of course, this could be a different person, we don't know, on LinkedIn. And Joe S comments positively on the watch that he just bought, comments on Twitter. Now, further down the next day, a J Star, he wants to buy a belt, a box, some connectivity, and an extension. Presumably, this is all components to go with his watch. And then Joe Star opens a call center ticket for the Zinkel wire watch that he's just bought. So you can start to, as a human being, you can start to build up an image of what's going on here. J Star then cancels his order for the watch he's bought. The firm has to refund $142, and Joe Star then goes back into the shop where he's bought the watch and gets back a credit for $129. All in all, not particularly satisfactory. Now, you can probably see what's happened here, but in terms of process, Joe Star basically, he wanted an extension to go with his ZW watch. He bought it on the high street. His complaint then went through the e-commerce. So the e-commerce firm, the e-commerce department were talking to J Star. Of course, it was Joe Star who went into the shop. There's no compatibility between the two, and the result is a refund, negative tweet, and a missed opportunity to upsell to Joe Star's friends. If you then add in some master data onto this, of course, the whole thing then becomes a lot more understandable. And Joe Star buys his watch the same, but of course, in the meantime, the master data management system has connected Joe Star with J Star within the systems, and the e-commerce people know they're actually dealing with Joe Star and are able to say, hey, in fact, for that ZW watch, you need an XZW extension rather than the one that we're purchasing. They supply the correct extension, and Joe Star's really happy, Luke is happy, and Jack Bolt then goes and buys the same watch. So just in that simple example, you can see the difference between having master data management, linking all of this together, rather than having disconnected people on different parts of the organization. And as a result, the company has a successful transaction, increased loyalty, and an upsell to Luke and Jack. Now, from that very simple example, you can see that the main benefits of MDM, to me, it says the main benefits, to me, it's the only benefits, really. Everything boils down within an MDM system to increasing profitability, improving productivity, or regulatory complying to regulatory compliance. Those are the three main drivers behind an MDM system. And it's worth bearing those in mind as we move forward, because when you're implementing an MDM solution, there really does have to be a business driver behind it. Now, I said somewhat contentiously at the beginning that traditional master data management has failed the enterprise. As it says, it's a crucial business requirement, but let's just think about this. If you go back something like 8 years to when Semarchy started business, the MDM solutions being offered by the big companies, the 400-pound gorillas, as Gartner called them, were very IT focused. And there's lots of stories of people sitting in a darkened room with whiteboards and post-it notes, and they'd spend 2 months speccing out the system, and then another 2 years building the system. And then, of course, once the system was built, the actual business had moved on. Perhaps they'd introduced new products, they'd introduced new departments, or through mergers and acquisitions, the whole company had changed. So this IT-focused and very rigid development methodology really was not suitable. And that was one of the reasons that it failed the enterprise. The other reason, of course, it was tremendously expensive. And again, there are stories of people talking about MDM projects and people sucking between their teeth and saying, you're looking at $2 million for something like that. This, of course, then led to an over-segmentation of the marketplace and a proliferation of lots of different products for data discovery, different products for data quality, data integration, and as you can see, data analytics, etc. And we all know of numerous projects that incorporated many of these different products to try and get to the end results. And this, in turn, combined with the rigidity and the expense of the projects, led to project fatigue and failure. So when we say it's contentious to say that traditional MDM has failed the enterprise, those are the reasons behind it. Now, at Semarchy, we feel that the data hub is the way forward. It's a new way of doing data management. So I just want to introduce the concepts behind this to you now. And firstly, before I do that, Semarchy has really taken the lead on the intelligent data hub. We spent a lot of time talking to our customers about what they really want from their systems. We've talked to the analysts, people like Gartner, people like Forrester, and they have a good vision again from the marketplace on people's expectations. So by talking with our customers and talking to the analysts, we were able to invest in our technology in the areas that people really wanted to see. And it says, as it says, this is areas like dashboards, data discovery, data governance. The concept behind it is that with MDM still at the core of the solution, but there are other areas, those grey areas that you can see where MDM is now crossing over or moving across into areas of data governance, areas of data quality, data integration. And the proposition is that with one technology now, rather than that plethora of different products, you can satisfy your business requirements. So you can satisfy those requirements of pulling together the people, the places, and the things, combining it with the other information that you have in your organization into just one application. And you can see from this screen that the XDM solution, probably as you would expect from a modern solution, runs on PCs, tablets, and smartphones. So let's just look at this in a little bit more detail now. So we've spoken in the center here where we've spoken about the core of the system. This is, if you like, the core of the MDM solution, linking parties, places, reference data, things. On the periphery of this, you're linking to the ERP systems, CRM systems, different marketing systems, HR systems, etc., to pull all of this data together. But what we're now providing over and above this is data profiling capability, data quality, data applications themselves, and dashboards and workflows. And by pulling all of this together, you've now got an intelligent data hub that goes way beyond just traditional MDM capability. So with this product strategy, we've now got one data hub. So that's data discovery through the XDM data discovery module, data governance capability, data management through REST APIs, data integration, and then of course measuring that through dashboards. And then through the agile development methodology, you then build the business-ready applications. These can be applications for healthcare, life science, customer 360, financial information, and these can run on the cloud or on-premise. If you think back to the traditional MDM with the rigidity, it was inflexible and very costly. We've positioned XDM to go against that, to counter that. And I guess the three pillars of XDM that are most important are, number one, the agility. And again, this is because we feel that any business application that you're building has to be built in a matter of months rather than years. And indeed, most phase one XDM applications are up and running in something like 10 to 13 weeks. And this is achieved through clever version controlling within the software, making it entirely suitable for an agile development methodology. The second area, of course, is cloud. And this is something that in the 8 years that Semarchy have been working, cloud has moved from being something that people talked about to being all prevalent and all pervasive. And in the cloud marketplace now, we're very proud to be supporting Microsoft Azure, Amazon Web Services, Google. We have product as a service, software as a service offerings. And we're in fact a leading presence on those Azure and AWS platforms. And finally, as I said a while back, is business focused. And this goes back to the point I made about the intentions behind MDM. There has to be a business focus on this. And so MDM really is aimed at business users. And so the UI, the user experience, we really say if you're able to use an Excel spreadsheet, then you should be able to use an XDM application. And it was this market leadership that has brought us fantastic awareness with the analysts. And so, as you can see, we were the top challenger in the December 2019 Gartner Magic Quadrant. Very proud to be sitting there, and very soon hope to be breaking into the leader quadrant of the MQ. With Forrester Wave, you saw the chap with the red coat right on the edge. We achieved 5 out of 5 for the strength of our vision. And I don't know if you're familiar with the Gartner Peer Insights, but I sometimes describe this as TripAdvisor for software vendors, and it allows customers to go in and rate the software, scoring it out of 5, and leave anonymous quotes and comments about the software. And again, in 2019, we were the customer's choice for MDM products, and again in 2020, and in fact, we're very pleased to be the top ranked customer's choice in 2020 for MDM solutions with Gartner. And those customers that are leaving those comments, as you can see, there are a multitude of different customers across various different industry sectors. One of the strengths I mentioned earlier is that we pay a lot of attention to what our customers are saying in terms of what they want from the technology. And I think it's this breadth of experience that we've got across different industry sectors, such as BAE Systems, which is defense. We've got Volvo cars and Honda cars in the automotive industry, Lloyd's of London, and many others in the financial sector, not to mention Sanofi and other customers in life science and healthcare. So it's that breadth of experience that then allows us to put all of the different requirements from those customers into XDM, which then in turn goes to enhance the strength and quality of the product. So from those customers, some of the things they're saying about us, I'll leave you to read all of these, but I might just pick one or two. Easy to implement and modify is a great one. And my guys in my team always love the one in the bottom left. Awesome experience from pre-sales through to implementation and post-sales. And we genuinely don't know who all of these customers are, because, as I say, these comments are left anonymously, but they really are a testament to the strength of the product and how much our customers like using the technology. So, in a nutshell, that wraps up why we feel that traditional MDM has failed the enterprise. It's introduced you to the Intelligent Data Hub from Semarchy and what we feel gives you the advantages over the traditional MDM. Spoke a bit about the functionality and the features that we have within the product. So those are, to remind you again, data discovery capability, data integration, data management, the traditional MDM. This is where the matching and merging in the business rules, data audit takes place. Overriding all of that is a data governance capability, and then finally measuring the quality of your data as it improves, and maintain that quality data in your MDM solution through the dashboards and KPIs that we offer. So thank you for that. And just to wrap up, a few pictures of the Semarchy team. There we are at one of our business meetings showing off our striped socks. So because this is online, I won't be able to take audience questions, but just to go back, thank you very much for listening, and I hope you found it useful.